Hey, it's Daylin with Redeeming Day. I want to talk about going from the pit to the palace. I want to talk about it in humility, right? You got to know that every one of these videos that I'm putting out is from a place of humility, okay? I don't really do it unless God's prompting me to do it. But I was thinking while I was sitting in my new townhome, that God has taken me, not that I was living in a pit by any stretch, but I just came through something really, really deep and huge that God needed to come in and rescue me, or I was going to be sunk. I was in one of those places where you know that if God doesn't show up, you are in trouble. So I had stepped out of the boat, right, to buy this townhouse. I believed that God had talked to me and shown it to me, and now I am loving it and living in it. But for the last 6 months, it was a trial. I mean, a trial to get this house, and then to have all of the loans and the insurance and the financing and all of those things worked out. I had to trust God, right? And I had to go back. I had to go back into the Word in Genesis 38 and 39. You know, the story of Joseph, who went from the pit to the palace. There is such an amazing phrase that the Word talks about with Joseph a couple of times in his life. It says, and God was with Joseph. Man, do I love that phrase, and I want to live that life. God was with Daylin. God can be with you. He's always with us, but when we recognize it and when we draw it out and call on Him, oh my gosh, He can trust us with more and more. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But how do you do that? How do you go from the pit to the palace? Or how do you go from your problem to, the next situation in your life that's a good one? Well, for me, I have to make sure that God is with Daylin and Daylin is with God. And I think that's a pretty big key. We have to be intentional. We have to be intentional to be in prayer. We have to be intentional to ask, right? The Word says ask, knock, seek, right? Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, which is our righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So this isn't like a name it and claim it video at all. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about God was with Joseph. God was with Daylin. God is with you. If you'll recognize it and acknowledge it and call on Him and step out of the boat and walk towards Him, there's some great gifts that He has for every one of us. It says all good gifts come from above, right? That's what the Word says. So as I'm reflecting on this last couple of months, and I'm so grateful because seriously, it was down to the nick of time where I had to pay off a massive bridge loan in between my two houses. And God was refining me. I know it. I know He was refining me to trust Him. And near the end, what did I have to do? I had to know. I had to set my thoughts not on the problem, but on Him, trusting Him, walking out on the water towards Jesus, towards God, to know that He's ordered my steps. And how can I know that? Because I've spent time with Him, right? If you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and you're not spending time with each other, how's that relationship going to go? Not very good. So I thought that was worth talking about today. It's just, it's something I'm so grateful for. And I really am saying it from a place of humility, but I know this is something, part of the reason why this took so long for me to sell my other house was so I could learn this principle and walk in it and tell other people about it, because it is really worth knowing that God is with you no matter what, when it's really hard, when the storm is raging around you. So no matter what the situation is, stay plugged into Him, right? Get your cup of coffee or your cup of tea or whatever, like I'm always saying. Sit with Him and He'll talk with you. He honors that. So God bless you guys. Thanks for your prayers. I sure appreciate it. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk soon. Bye-bye.